Welcome to the Richard Lloyd USA YouTube channel. I'm Richard Lloyd. Today I'm going to be doing a video on a router rescue on a TP-Link. Now I've done many TP-Link router rescue videos, but recently TP-Link has changed the way that the rescue procedure works on the newer routers. And I think this goes from the beyond the Archer or the Archers and beyond or newer. I have an Archer A10 here that I'm going to be using, and it looks like, let's see where it is, over here. It looks like this, and it's a fairly modern router, I guess, but basic router, TP-Link, and it uses the new rescue recovery method that TP-Link uses. Now, if yours doesn't have the new recovery method, I'll put a card up here somewhere for the old method that works just fine. And actually the new method is much simpler than the old method, but again, try them both. But if you have a newer router, then I would go with this method. And let me see over here. Let me open up. And yeah, this video was basically prompted by a user, not that he's the only one, but he's the last one to ask. His name is Lee, and here's his comment. Help please, I have an Archer AX23. I can't see anything in the logs. I followed your instructions perfectly. I also checked OpenWRT. You can't find any information on the device. Please help. I feel like the IP is wrong or something. I disabled the firewall and everything else. Now he's using this video that I put up, TP-Link router rescue, the official Unbrick. Well, that's the old way of doing it, and that works on the older routers. This video, and thanks Lee, you're basically about the 20th person who's asked me about this. So I didn't have a router to show you how to do this on, but now I do. So what I'll do is I'll show you how to do it on this router, and then you can see the procedure, and it will work on the AX23s and all the newer routers from TP-Link. At least that's what they say on the website. So let's get at it. Now, first thing you're gonna have to do is go get firmware for this router. Now you're saying, hey Richard, I don't have my router's down, I don't have access to the internet. You actually still do in a couple of ways. Number one, if you have a cell phone that's possible to do it with, you can turn on the Wi-Fi hotspot on it and connect through Wi-Fi with it and go get the firmware file that way. Now there might be some data charges if you do that, but you can do it that way. I also have a video, and I'll put a card up there again, showing you how to connect a single computer to the router to the modem, to your modem by itself. Now I did that on a cable modem. It might be different on DSL and other methods, but I'll show you that as well. And then you've got the old standby, which is called SneakerNet. Get yourself a USB thumb drive. Go to somewhere where you can download the firmware file onto the thumb drive, bring it home, and use this thumb drive to load up the firmware into the router. So first thing we're going to do is connect to Wi-Fi, which I'm already done. And we're going to go get that firmware. So just do a Google link for TP-Link firmware download. And then you'll get the download center. Click on that, and then you'll get this, which is the download center. And it says you can put your model in here if you wish, like a TP-Link. Mine's an A10, so I'll just put A10 in here and see what happens. Archer A10 home Wi-Fi routers, or you can just go through the list down here. If you look, you can see under Wi-Fi routers there's the A10. So I'm just going to click on that. Now, oh yeah, just remembered, this has to be done with an Ethernet cable. Usually the router comes with one in the box. You need an Ethernet cable. You need an Ethernet connection on your computer. And if you don't have one, and because you're using a laptop that doesn't have Ethernet, or you have a computer that doesn't have Ethernet, there's a really easy solution. Just go to Amazon, and again, I'll put links for this stuff in the video description below. Please do use those. They help me out. And it doesn't cost any more than going straight to Amazon. So here's a solution for that. You get a USB to Ethernet adapter. They're around 15 bucks, as you can see here. I have a couple, and they work great. And that'll plug into your USB port on your laptop or computer, and then you can hook up the Ethernet through that, and it works great. So that's another solution there. Now we're going to go get the firmware, and for the A10, you see here Really, really important that you do two things. Number one, make sure you're getting the firmware for the right router. Number two, make sure you're getting the right firmware for your version. So on the router somewhere, it will tell you, on mine it says on the back what version it is. And mine is a version 1.6. And basically, the only part that matters is the version number before the point. So mine is a V1. Now they've got a V2 and V2.6. So again, V1 is all the version 1s. V2 is version 2. And now here is version 2.6. I don't know why they do it this way, but regardless, mine's a V1. So I'm going to choose that. Now you can see the router over here. Scroll down here and you'll see an option here. Oh, one more thing on this. Notice that this says US. Router firmware specific to the country that you live in. So if you live in Canada, download the file from the Canadian TP-Link site. If you live in India, download the file from the Indian TP-Link site, and so on and so on and so on, right? And, or if you're abroad and you bought the router in the United States, use the US site, okay? It is specific to the hardware. So here we're going to go to firmware. I do have the right version 1, and I'm going to go and, okay, and here you even tells you here, upgrade to, you can change the site here, change the site if necessary. If it didn't automatically do it, it tells you all about it. But here all I want is the latest firmware, which is 200928. So I'm going to download that. Now, you can download it anywhere you wish, place it where you would like to. There it is, download. We're going to go over here. I'm going to put it in my downloads directory, which automatically goes to. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it Archer A10, just to make it easy to find, There we go. Open it up and drop it in. Now you'll see here that it's a zip file. That means it's a compressed file. We have to uncompress it. So again, whichever router, TP-Link router you're doing this for, and understand this is only for TP-Link routers, so we'll hit save. All right, so now we should have in my download directory, open up my file browser here. Let's see, where is it? Okay, that's good. Downloads, there it is. And Archer A10. And you see that it's a zip file. So just double click it and it opens up, and then click on the extract all over here. There are other ways of doing this, but this is straight up. This will create the folder in this folder, so it'll tree out, but I'll show you that. Extract it. It opens up and there it is, right? So I'm just going to close this down, go back to the root folder where I started, which is in downloads, Archer A10, and you can see the zippered file is not what you want. You want the unzippered folder here. So double click that and there it is. Okay, so that's where it is. We've got the zip file now. Now the next thing you need to do is disconnect from Wi-Fi. You do not want to flash your router through Wi-Fi ever, okay? If you do, you're on your own, you're taking a big risk. It may mess up and then you may not be able to recover it. Always do it with an Ethernet cable, all right? So again, I'm going to turn Wi-Fi off here, okay? And now all we have is a network card in this computer. I'm going to right-click it. Come down here to the network icon, the little globe here. Not connected, no connections available. Right-click that. Choose Open and Internet Settings. Open Network and Internet Settings. Here we're going to go to Change Adapter Options. Or actually, we'll go here, Ethernet, because that's where we're going. And as you can see, I got nothing there, but we're going to go here, Change Adapter Options. Okay, and I've got two network cards in this computer. So I'm going to just quickly power up the router, plug it in, and see which one lights up. So I know which one to change. So I'm just going to plug it in. Okay, so it's that EA8300. There we go. So I'm going to right click that one because we know that's the one. I just powered it on. And I'm going to go to Properties. And in here under Internet Protocol version 4, we're going to have to change a few things, and we'll come back in here and reset this back to what it used to be, which is automatic. Here we're going to put in a number. It's very specific, 192.168. And you don't need to put the dots, it populates that, but if you put dots, you can, it won't matter. .0 and .10. Now just click on the next box, subnet mask. It will automatically populate from the number on top. Here we hit OK and OK again. So like I said, we're going to come back here. So I'm going to minimize this, get rid of this window. And now your network configuration for this router is correct. And the next thing we need to do is, okay, let's get this out of here. All right, is to boot this router using the rescue method. And what I'm going to use is a toothpick, and on the side of this router, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is a Wi-Fi on and off, a WPS button, and a reset in the rear. Now, this is the A10. All routers are different, so whatever TP-Link router you have, it probably does have a little hole for reset. I'm using a toothpick because that's the safest thing to use. It's not metal, you can't short circuit anything, and it's softer than metal too. Other routers on TP-Link say that you hold down the WPS button for 5 to 10 seconds, and it will reset it to the rescue mode. But in this one, you use the reset. So I'm going to power it off, push down on the reset using the toothpick, power it on, and I'm going to wait. 1, 2, you see the lights flashing, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there. All right, I don't know if you can see it clearly here or not, but all the lights are on, including this one down here on this router. So that's in the rescue mode, and I'll show you that better picture here of it here. That's what it's going to look like. All the lights are on, and none of them are blinking. They're just solid on. Okay, so next, what we're going to do is connect to this router using the Ethernet cable on, I'm using LAN port 1. I suggest always using one, but I'm sure all of them would work, but I just use one. So I'm going to plug it in. There we go. And nothing will change on the router. All those lights will stay the same, at least on mine anyway. And there's another view of it, but yeah, LAN 1 here, and it's ready to go. So now on the network, back to the network settings, you'll see that unidentified network, but it is connected because it doesn't have a red X here. You see the icon there, right? So that's perfectly what we want. So next, we'll go back to the internet browser, and let's just open up a tab here. Yeah, I'll close this one off. Open up a new one. And what you're going to type in is the specific IP address. It's 192.168.0.1. And then you hit enter. And this is the new rescue page for TP-Link's router rescue. Okay, so system error, the router cannot start up normally. Please upgrade your router. You can download the firmware file from, as I showed you, TP-Link, right? And again, this is much easier than the old way. You had to use a TFTP server and so on and so forth. This is basically set up so that people can do this easily. So what we're going to do here is we're going to hit on browse. We're going to go to downloads, A10, and then we're going to go to the Archer US version 1 that I downloaded. And let me open this up further here. You can see it's a great big long number, but the one you want is not the PDFs, it's the bin file. Okay, so right there, choose it, open, and then the next thing you do is upgrade. So we're going to do that, and this takes a little bit. Again, the router does nothing. It just basically all the lights are on like they were on before, and it's just in the same state, a rescue state. And yeah, just let it go. And oh no, I'm not right here. I'm not right about that. the power light is actually flashing on mine right now. So I never noticed that before, but it is. And looks like it just rebooted. The lights are actually starting to do things. There we go. So, yeah, let it go through. When it gets to 100%, it should be done. And what I'm going to do here, just to save time, I'll just fast forward this to the end, and then I'll show you where it ends up. Okay, it's actually done its full flash procedure, and by default it went back to 192.168.0.1. And again, I want to make sure that you guys all understand that this router should have nothing else connected to it. It shouldn't be connected to the modem or anything else, okay? So understand that it needs to be isolated to itself, okay? After you've gotten to this point, then it's straight up set it up, and connect it back to your router, to your modem, and configure it any way you want. But here, first thing it's going to ask to do, and I'm just going to close this out of here. You could use a tether app, but I'm not getting into that. Put in a password here that's appropriate, and let's do that again. There we go. Let's get started. And now you can see that it's just going to go through the configuration of the router. Now, depending on what your setup is, this router may not be on 192.168.0.1. It might be on 192.168.1.1 or whatever. But basically, its defaults usually to 192.168.0.1. So that's it. The router is now functional again. Lights on it look normal, right? And last but not least, we got to set your network back to its original configuration. And you want that just in case your IP address has changed. So here we're just going to right click the network connection properties, and Internet Protocol version 4, TCP/IP v4, and we're just going to hit the radio button to obtain an IP address automatically and obtain DNS server's address automatically. Hit OK, OK, and it will connect to it again. And if you want to see what your IP address for your router is, just right click that connection, click status, go to details, and you'll see that the default gateway is 192.168.0.1, and DHCP server is the same, DNS is the same. Usually that is your default IP address for your router. Okay, your IP address is 100 on that same network, 192.168.0. So yeah, that's it for this repair. As I said, thank you, Lee, for asking the question, and all others who did. I did answer them manually, but from now on, I'm just going to say, if you have this question, how do you rescue TP-Link router, a newer TP-Link router? This is one of the methods. This is what method, I would say, number 2, the newest one. The older one required a bit more, but again, I put a card up there to the older official rescue for this router. I have tons of videos on routers, and I love TP-Link. They're great routers as well, and I use one as my primary right now, and it's an Archer C9, believe it or not, but it works great. But regardless, that's it for my video. We got this back to working here. So that's it for my video. If you like this video and it helped you out in some way, do me a huge favor. Give me a thumbs up at the bottom here. That helps my channel and helps me on YouTube and on the internet to get more exposure. Also, if you like my content and it helped you out in some way, click the subscribe button down there as well. And as a part of the process of the subscribe button, you're going to get a bell icon. Click on the bell icon, and then you'll be notified every time I put up a new video, and then you can watch it at your own leisure. Comments section below the video. Put your comments and your questions and your suggestions and your thanks and all that stuff, and anything you want to say to me in the comments section. I do look at them regularly, especially on a new video. I monitor it, quite regularly. I do get a lot of them, so if I miss one or two, my apologies. But regardless, this video was actually generated by a comment on another video. So as you can see, I do listen to you guys, and when you have great suggestions like, or questions like this one, I'll make a video to answer it, and that'll be that. Okay, so again, that in the comment sections. Also in the video description, I'll put links to all the stuff that I use in this video. You know, the router, the cables, that Ethernet adapter, that USB Ethernet adapter. I can't believe how handy that's been for me. I may get another one. You know, anything else that may be related to this video will be in there. Those are affiliate links. They help me out when you use them, so please use them. It doesn't cost you any more than going directly to Amazon and buying it directly. So there's, you know, no cost to you. So I appreciate you guys for using those and supporting me and my efforts here on YouTube. So once again, like always, stay healthy, stay happy, and we'll see you on the next video.